Tuesday. Got a great show for you. We got college football tonight. Can't wait to bet that. Conference USA, great, awesome. Middle Tennessee, they've let me down twice already. It's going to take them again today. Why not?
What if I told you in May that there would be college football, Conference USA on? You'd be so excited.
I'm excited.
No,
I'm excited. I'm excited about it, but just to bet it, just
take over.
It's tough. Yeah, we say that, and then Liberty and Jacksonville State. That game would be 10-7. You know, that's the toughest part about betting the G5 games is they can be just all over the place, absolutely all over the place. But man, that Braves game is all over the place, and our reverse psychology is working, man.
Ended well.
I'm telling you, that's a real thing. The Braves come from behind to even the division series with the Phillies in a thriller last night. The Raiders beat the Packers in a game in Vegas we'll soon forget. And we're previewing a top 10 matchup between Oregon and Washington and giving you our best early bets for Week 7 of college football. I'm Jay Crane. Hit that like and subscribe button because we're in here at Crane & Company. Now, I think we can all agree the Pac-12 is the best conference in college football so far this year. And Saturday, two of their top dogs are about to throw down at Washington as they host Oregon. And while we're going to analyze this one down to the bone, I mean into the nitty-gritty, there's one glaring difference why Oregon is going to win this game. They're just tougher. Now, I'm not saying Washington is soft. But Dan Lanning has built kind of an SEC-style team in the Pac-12 on both sides of the ball, led by physicality over finesse. Now, even though both teams have guys that can make wild plays, there's NFL players running all over this field, and the numbers are going to back that up, Washington is really just elite through the passing game, and they truly use the run only as a counter. I mean, they rush the ball under 40% of the time. Now, you look at Oregon, they're closer to half and half. Now, with the new clock rules, the team that runs the ball the most effectively can keep the other team on the sideline, play a little game of keep away. So in a game where two elite offenses are squaring up, you have to be on the field to ball out. They say the best ability is availability. Now, the Washington defense has been top 20 in the country so far, but they're giving up almost 4 yards a rush. And as crazy as this may sound, at least up to this point, Oregon's offensive line may be even better than they were last year, even after losing all that talent. Now, through the air, Oregon gives up a lot of completions. Their completion percentage against isn't great, but they only average giving up a little over 5 yards per pass, which is top 5 in the country. That translates to being able to tackle in space. And against an offense like Washington that loves to spit it out all over the field and use every blade of grass, that is a must to keep them behind the chains. Now, finally, both of these teams do a great job of protecting the quarterback. And while Washington, honestly, has been a big surprise in the positive up front on offense, this Oregon defense is maniacal against the pass. Now, how crazy? Well, if you look at the numbers, they get a sack on almost 12% of opposing teams' dropbacks passes. That's incredible. And when you face a jump shooter in a football uniform like Michael Penix, who can get insanely hot when he gets into a rhythm, you cannot let him get to his spots, whether that be in the pocket or on the rollout. And I believe that Oregon will be able to move him with the 4-man rush and then disrupt him with pressures. Now, sometimes quarterbacks that have the arm strength of Michael Penix can leave themselves a little bit vulnerable by trying to make every impossible throw possible. And always remember, physicality equals balance, and balance keeps you on the beam the longest. That's why I'm taking the Ducks this Saturday in a mega matchup of a disappearing Pac-12. I'm going to bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback, David Cohn, my brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, and emo extraordinaire, Blaine Crane. Guys, this is one of the best matchups we've had all year. It's going to come down to 3 to 5 plays. Typically, these games do. There's a couple things outside of just what I mentioned. I will always lean toward physicality. And I do think Oregon is the more physical team. Again, this isn't saying Washington's a bad team. This isn't saying Washington's, just trying to walk through the tulips over there and not touch anybody. but I just think this Oregon team is put together better than Washington from a complementary standpoint. Offense, defense, and special teams. We always talk about those 3 to 4 games a year where the offense may not be hitting on all cylinders, right? We've seen the Warriors not make threes before. We've seen the Chiefs get shut down in games offensively. Heck, we've seen Max Verstappen not win the race. At some point, the offense isn't going to play as well as they normally do. Typically in big games, you see it. I think Oregon can find a way to win, even if Bo Nix and them, who's thrown 15 touchdowns to 1 interception, even if they don't play at an unbelievably elite level on the road.
Yeah, the numbers are similar there with 15 touchdowns to 2 interceptions for Bo Nix and like 16 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Oh, it's insane.
These are the 2 best teams in the Pac-12. In a year where that statement means something because of the type of football they're playing out there. We've seen Utah without Cam Rising. They're just not the same. UCLA, strong defense. They're overperforming, but a young guy at quarterback. USC on defense. Look, we're going to find out more this week, too, about them when they go to Notre Dame. But these are the 2 best teams in the Pac-12. And it's hard for me to argue against what you're saying because Oregon has demonstrated that balance all season long, and not just balance offense to defense, but balance within the offensive scheme from run to pass, like you're saying. We haven't necessarily seen that from Washington. What I've been seeing from Washington is more like what USC's doing, a little bit more like what North Carolina's doing. Let's throw the ball all over the place to these elite playmakers that we have with one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And for fans out there who aren't necessarily a fan of Oregon or Washington, you don't want to miss this football game. And just appreciate the quarterback matchup that we're going to get with Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr., 2 transfer guys. Penix comes in from Indiana. Remember, he had to deal with the injury. Bo Nix comes in from the situation at Auburn with Brian Harsin. This is going to be a showdown of epic proportions. I'm a little bit surprised to see Washington favored, but I think that showcases, 1, them being at home, and 2, just the type of quarterback that Michael Penix Jr. is.
No, I agree with everything you just said. Blaine, I think there's somewhat of a common misconception going into this game that Washington really hasn't played anybody. When you look at it, Washington, I think, has like a top 45 schedule in the country. Oregon's at like 117. Washington's played Boise State, Tulsa, Michigan State, Cal, Arizona. Now, I'm not saying that's murderer's row, but when you look at Oregon, they have played Portland State. You go on the road to a Texas Tech team. That was a tough game in a tough environment. Then you've played Hawaii, a Colorado team that you were way overmatched, or Colorado was way overmatched against Oregon, and then a Stanford team that has a better chance of putting a Rubik's Cube together blindfolded than beating Oregon in football right now. When you look at this matchup, how are you feeling early in the week?
I'm not surprised that Washington's favored because they are at home. I do think Oregon's a better team, but there's certain things I look in games like this. 1, if you're a smart man, bet the over. 2, who can score touchdowns in the red zone? All right, in the green zone, because both these teams are going to move the ball. The quarterbacks are too good. The offenses are too good. Both quarterbacks are super experienced. Who can score in the red zone and who can get off the field on 3rd downs? And if you go back to Oregon, I know I haven't played anybody great, but obviously the best team they somewhat played, in my opinion, is probably Texas Tech. I mean, Texas Tech was 8 for 12 on 3rd down. All right, if you play against a Washington team like that and you can't get off the field on 3rd down, it's going to be a long game. But you go back to what's Oregon going to do defensively. Dan Lanning was a witch and wizard of Waverly Place, basically, at Oregon when it comes to defensive play calling. What do you do with Michael Penix, all right? Do you think you can get there with 4? You think you get there with 4, it's going to make your life a lot easier, especially in the back end. If you come out to run a shell coverage or something like that, are you going to mix pressures and mix blitzes early? I just believe that Michael Penix, as good as he is, in big games, he somewhat makes mistakes sometimes. He tries to force, he tries to press, and I think Bo Nix has been there. I think Bo Nix is experienced enough in clutch situations to where he will make the right play at the right time. And you go back to what you say, it's a lot easier to someone and turn around and hand the ball off than go get 6, then turn around and throw it 40 times a game, especially if it's not going in early. So I like Oregon in this game. It's going to be close, but go back to what you said. Oregon's a more balanced football team. And at the end of the day, man, I will take the team that can get 5 running the rock, then I can take the team running, passing to get 5 every play.
Yeah, and I think Bo Nix's legs are going to be big in this game too, as well in the red zone. I think you're going to see them really kind of emphasize him running, not putting him in harm's way a ton, but I think this is where you're going to see Bo Nix be able to really utilize his feet. I mean, what I'm so excited to see, and I know that Oregon's got Franklin on offense. They got some guys that can really do it, right? They got some guys that can really do it. But I cannot wait to see this secondary matchup of Oregon with Williams and Reed and the guys they have go up against Adunzi, Polk, McMillan, Bernard. I mean, the receiver groups from both of these teams, really the offensive skill position group from both of these teams, it's about as good as you're going to get in college football. And when you watch Washington, they're not going to go away from what they do, and Oregon's not going to go away from what they do. But I always look at pace, right? Styles make fights. Both these teams, they can change tempos, they can have success, but how much, if you are Dan Lanning and you're Oregon offensively, do you sit here and say, all right, we know Washington is high flying, they want to get the ball out, they're going to supplement the run game with the quick passing game. Not that they're not going to run the ball, but I told you they run it under 40% of the time, so they're obviously, passing to run as a counter. That's kind of their changeup. How much do you look and say, all right, especially if Washington's cooking early on offense, how much do we slow it down? How much do we give the defense a rest? It's going to be crazy out there. We know how loud that place gets out there in Washington. But do you look at the pace and say, we want to make sure and keep them on the sideline for as long as possible, even if that may go against a little bit of what we want to do?
That's why the most interesting aspect of this game for me is what game plan is Washington going to have on defense. They haven't been bad stopping the run, but they give up a lot of yards passing through the air. So to your question, does Oregon see that and they say, hey, we know that we could dial up some sort of formation to the boundary, run a post rail route right here and score a touchdown from the 40-yard line? Or are we going to continue to try and run the ball and chew up clock to keep their offense on the sideline? Not only does that dictate to me who will end up winning this game, but it also speaks to Blaine's point on the over-under. Because the typical thinking is here, this is bound to be a shootout. This is a 48-45 game, right? But if Oregon dedicates themselves on offense to the run game, despite what Washington is doing on defense, are we looking at like a 28-24 type of game?
Yeah, and I go back to what I said earlier. They're giving up a lot. But by the way, Bo Nix is completing like 80% of his passes. It's wild. Insane. Michael Penix is not too far behind him. But when you give up, sometimes numbers can kind of be misleading because, like I said earlier, you give up a high percentage of completions, but you're not giving up a lot of yards per completion. Like you look at a team like Texas A&M that we're going to talk about with Tennessee later. It's the exact opposite. They're like 22nd overall in pass defense. They don't give up a ton of completions, but they don't give up a ton of completions per se, but when they do give them up, they're huge plays. They're like 117th in yards per completion. So I would much rather have a team that, hey, you can throw the hitch, or hey, you can throw the bubble, and we're going to get you down. We're going to get off blocks, especially in that screen game, and get you on the ground. I think Oregon's ability to tackle in space is going to be massive in this game to be able to keep Washington from taking those short plays and hit those home runs, because nothing sets up the deep ball like taking advantage of your ass in the short passing game. Nothing gets them up. It's just like in the run game on the perimeter. It's the exact same thing. But we want to know what you think. We have live calls. We're taking the line opens at 7:15 a.m. Central. That's 8:15 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, especially if you're in the chat right now. We're going to get to that in 1 second. But very quickly, starting a business can be tough, just like starting an offensive drive when you're trying to get in a rhythm, but you need to know how to run your online storefront. And thanks to Shopify, it's even easier than ever. What is Shopify? They are a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. And when you hear this, congratulations, you just made some more money. I have people asking me all the time, Jake, I want to start a podcast. I want to do this. I want to do that. How hard is it, number one, to get it operating like fully where you can do merch and things like that? It's very hard to do by yourself. That's why you need Shopify. From the launch your online shop stage to all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders phase, Shopify is there to help you. They've got an unbelievable marketing team. They help you turn browsers into buyers. They have an unbelievable converting ratio when it comes to checkout, like up to 36% of people that browse end up making a play. So no matter how big you want to grow, no matter how small you're starting or big you're starting, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control. So sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Crane. That's shopify.com/Crane, CRAIN. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Crane now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Crane. All right, we're going to put our link for our merchandise, right? Speaking of an online shop, into the chat. Best way to help us out, I have people ask me all the time, Jake, what's the best way to help out the show? Buying merch is one of the best ways. We have some new designs for the Booster Club we want to get out to you guys, and we want to make sure we sell out first before we do that. All right, let's get over to the chat.
All right, chat, let's get it going today. Sister Riggs, what's up, Queen? She says, how does special teams affect the Oregon-Washington matchup, and which team has better special teams players this year?
I think both teams are deep when it comes to roster. So, when you look at special teams, that's a big part of it. Typically in a tight game, right, we always talk offensively, we always talk defensively, and there's always that one special teams play. And the special teams play doesn't have to be a punt block for a touchdown or a kickoff return for a touchdown. It's covering kicks and keeping them inside the 25, right? It's knowing when to fair catch a punt and when to fake fair catch it when the ball's going to land at the 5. Don't fair catch it, fake fair catch it, see if you can get a bounce in the end zone. It's making sure that you're getting good snaps and holds on field goals and you're making the routine plays routine. So I think it's somewhat of a wash, but it feels like always in a Pac-12 game, there's a big special teams play that happens.
We saw Oregon
a return.
fake that punt against Colorado from inside their own red zone.
Yeah, Lanning did not. You can tell at that point. You can always tell when a coach feels really good about the matchup, when he's willing to take risks like that earlier in the game. Mm-hmm. And you would say, but Jake, if you didn't feel good about the matchup, wouldn't you be willing to take more risks? Not necessarily, because you want to let gravity happen, right? But when you feel like, hey, for some reason we don't get this, we're just better than they are, so at worst we'll probably hold them to a field goal, that's when you see it.
All right, let's get a Keith Mode. Jimbo, $2 donation. Appreciate it, Jimbo. Congrats on being 5-0 in fantasy as well. Says, Bo Nix is what you're saying is going to be essentially the difference in this game.
No, I don't think it's going to be Bo Nix. I think it's going to be up front. I just think it's going to be Oregon's ability to run the ball and then Oregon's ability to stop the run and tackle in space on defense. That's what I think is going to be the difference. That doesn't mean that Washington isn't going to score. That doesn't mean that Oregon's going to score every time or that Oregon's just going to sit on the ball the whole game. But when it comes down to those 3 to 5 plays, when it comes down to those 3rd and 3s, those 3rd and 1s, those 4th and 2s, and those 4th and 1s where you go for it, I think Oregon is better equipped to be able to convert than Washington is. And in a game that's going to be this tight, when the personnel difference isn't as wide, that's where I think the game's going to be won and lost.
Do you not think it's just going to be whoever has the ball last wins this game?
No. I mean,
does it not feel like one of these games?
That'd be fun.
It's easy to say that, right? Because you think it's going to be close. But what if Oregon has the ball with 4.5 minutes to go and Washington has one timeout and they're able to?
Do you not think it's going to be close?
What do you mean?
Okay, you would say that if you.
Well, think it's again, so are you saying like they're scoring quickly, because that's like misleading? Because again, what if Oregon has the ball? What if there's 4.5 minutes to go and Oregon's up by 3 and they have the ball at their own 20 and Washington has 2 timeouts and Oregon gets 4 first downs and runs it out with the last 4.5 minutes? I mean, I could say the last team who's going to have the ball, is probably going to win, because that's most likely the scenario, because either the last team that has the ball scores points to take the lead, or the last team that has the ball gets enough first downs to knee out the clock. So I think we got to be more specific, and we're saying, is this going to be a shootout back and forth where the last team gets the ball and drives the last minute of the game to go and score a touchdown like we saw Oklahoma, Texas? Or will somebody have the lead and just anaconda squeeze the other defense for the last 4.5, 5 minutes? So I think it's going to be close, but I think Oregon's ability, again, to be able to convert and hold on to the ball and then tackle in space on defense while keeping everything in front is going to be the difference.
All right, let's go to Texas. What's up, brother? So taking the Ducks this year. Dan Lanning has a team playing with an edge, and that I usually only see in the SEC.
Agreed. That's the style team he's built. I mean, that's the style of team that balance wins. Why does the SEC typically win it every year? They have the most balanced teams, the best teams in 2 out of 3 phases of the game. Why has Michigan been able to upgrade the way they've upgraded? Because they're now more physical than Ohio State is on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And again this year, just turn on the tape. I don't think that's crazy to look at and say Michigan's more physical again.
All right, let's go to NCAF Nation 247 with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, brother. Says, remember the principal betting the last 7 years when an unranked team is the fave versus a ranked team, the unranked team wins 80% of the time.
Yeah, that's heavy.
UK and UCLA already in 23.
Yeah, I do want to say, don't forget last year, unless I'm just totally losing my mind, Washington went to Oregon. Oregon was a double-digit favorite, and Washington beat them. Don't think Oregon and Bo Nix have forgotten about that either.
Can you read that one more time, that stat? So when it's
so remember that. Yeah, okay. So the last 7 years, when an unranked team is the fave versus the ranked team, the unranked team wins 80%. UK and UCLA already in 23.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat.
So he's talking about UCLA playing Washington State, obviously.
So, okay, UCLA. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And UK, I'd have to go back and look.
That's heavy. 80% is unbelievably heavy.
Florida.
Yes.
Florida.
Correct, yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's any more examples of that this week. All right, let's take another one.
Let's go to Laura Brown. What's up, Laura? $5 donation. Thank you. She says, air raid. How about the run raid? Texas Tech, Tajay Brooks, 170 yards rushing. Can spare their 4 consecutive games, over 100 yards rushing. And Texas Tech did have over 100 yards rushing against Oregon.
Yeah, it was a nice win for Texas
played.
Tech. Where were you guys earlier in the year when I was believing in y'all?
Now you got Kansas State.
Yeah, which, by the way, Kansas State, I mean, after the Oklahoma State game last week, I mean, that game, if you're, I believe Texas plays Kansas State, correct? And Oklahoma doesn't play them. I may be wrong on that. But if you're playing Kansas State, it just seems like a little bit of a different flavor so far this year. I mean, obviously you lose Deuce Vaughn, you lose what they lost. They won the Big 12 last year. I don't know, man. That game was just weird. I mean, speaking of Oklahoma State, that Kansas-Oklahoma State game ought to be interesting this week.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go to D. He says, I believe Oregon is overhyped. Texas Tech were way more physical against them when they played.
I don't think they were way more physical. I think Texas Tech, obviously with Tyler Shuck, who ended up getting hurt, I think Texas Tech, that game was a game, remember, circumstantially too. Texas Tech had just gone to Wyoming, had lost that game, ton of expectations coming in this year. You get to come home, you get to avenge what was seen as a bad loss, even though going up to Laramie to play is no walk in the park. They were kind of a wounded animal at that point, and Oregon was still able to survive. I'm telling you, man, sometimes in these games on the road, especially early in the year, against teams that have good personnel, Texas Tech does have good personnel. Sometimes you just got to survive, and Oregon did.
All right, let's go to Broken Devil Dog. He wants to know, if you were a betting man, would you lie the points with Oregon money line, or would you take them at a point and take them 3.5?
I would take at a point, take them 3.5. I'd feel better about that. Now, it just depends on, how you're feeling. Like, you feeling dangerous? Because, again, I don't think you'd be crazy to take both of them. Bet the 3.5 and the money line. Because, if they win, they both hit. And if for some reason, Washington kicks a walk-off field goal or something crazy happens, or, Washington wins by 1 or wins by 2, you still won some money. So, this is I don't think you'd be crazy to ladder this. What I mean by ladder it, take a couple bets within this game, kind of in the same realm. Oregon money line, Oregon plus 3.5, Oregon plus 4.5, maybe even Oregon minus 2.5. I don't think that would be crazy.
All right, let's go to Alan Crew. He says, Bama minus 19.5 against Arkansas. Seems like a lot of points.
All right, let's go ahead. That's a great segue. Alan, is that what you said?
Yes, Mr. Allen, welcome to my crew.
Yeah, Alan, J. Crew. It's a great segue into our college football early best bets. Boys, we've been hot on this.
Yeah, best bets.
We've been hot on this.
Week 7.
Also, locks, leans, and dogs. We were 5-1 with locks, 4-2 in leans, 9-3 overall last week. You trying to get this betting money in college football, why don't you come on and hang out with the boys? He mentioned Alabama, Arkansas.
Right.
Somebody explain to me, I want somebody to look me in the eyes, all right, as a grown man, as a friend, as a community member, as a trust tree person, all right, that's under the shade. Why would I not take Alabama minus 19.5? Why would I not? Why do I not lock this in right now? Should I lock this in right now? I'm looking at Arkansas, and I want to say this about Arkansas. And this is something, I'll probably put this on social later. Watching Arkansas and Sam Pittman not work out, it just doesn't feel right. Just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
What was the analogy we used earlier in the week? It's like when you look at 2 of your friends in high school that just had the cool parents, go over there, the parents are always cool with each other. All of a sudden, junior year, they're getting divorced. What happened? This is supposed to work out. This is a perfect fit.
I know.
Right?
It's sad.
This is a perfect fit.
But it's not
She was
working.
kind of quiet, didn't say a lot. He was very outgoing, opposites attract. Dinner was always good. Everybody's always smiling. The animals were happy. And then all of a sudden, hey, they're getting divorced. What, Tom was sneaking around? Tom was sneaking around with the English teacher at the high school? It just doesn't feel right. The offensive line's not great, which doesn't feel right at Arkansas to begin with. But Sam Pittman felt like such a great fit. And now it's just not working. He's trying to say all the right things. We're really close. Oh, I'm so close. Oh, I'm so close. But you're not. Arkansas's not close because you're not good up front. And you've had plenty of time. And I hate it because we love Sam Pittman, but I just don't see a way in which Arkansas consistently stops Alabama with a confident Jalen Milroe. And Arkansas is a one-trick pony. Really, it's a trick and a half. All right, it's KJ Jefferson and some Rocket Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rocket's been beat up back and forth. I'm looking at Alabama's defense. Arkansas is not going to score more than 17.
Yeah, that's why I still like the under here. It's 48.5 right now as we speak.
Does Bama score 45, though?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is the week they really try and get the run game.
TTP for Arkansas is 14.5.
What did I say? I said Florida wasn't going to score over 13 points against Utah. And you'd have thought, I mean, every person that's a registered voter in the state of Florida I thought was, going to show up at my yard with torches and pitchforks. And then last week, said, I don't think Kentucky's going to score a ton of points against Georgia. I think I said, over 14, something like that? I think, what, they score 17? I'm looking at Arkansas against that defense. Like, how long until, has Arkansas's defense already realized it? Like, regardless, I know the LSU game, they put up a lot of points, the offense did. But at some point, that defense, like, reality really sets in. Like, you can tell yourself, like, hey, like, we're going to go out there and if we got to win this game 3-0, we'll win it 3-0. But then you give up 7 in the first drive.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, we've probably lost. Like, is this the week? I don't know. I should probably lock Bama in 19.5.
I mean, look, I'm never going to get in the business of not betting for Bama to cover a spread. I know they haven't been great this year, but they're starting to come along and look like Bama. I don't know how Arkansas scores points in this game.
I don't either.
I don't know. KJ's going to have to, look, KJ's been putting it on his back the entire year. He's going to have to do it again. Maybe Bama doesn't get up for this game. Maybe Milroe takes a step back and makes a couple mistakes. That's the only way I could see Arkansas.
Well, I feel like David's right. Is this the game where Alabama tries to, kind of like Mississippi State a little bit, get back to that run game, get some confidence as you move forward?
They can still win this year's version of the SEC West without doing that, but Alabama winning the SEC West is nothing. That's not the goal of the season. You're not going to compete seriously in postseason play if you can't run the football. And right now, Alabama can't run the football. So I'm looking at this as a week. Hey, do we actually commit to the run game and try and work on that and control some of that clock and keep KJ Jefferson off the field?
Does this spread go up or down? You think? I don't see how it goes down.
No, I don't think it goes down. If anything, it goes up for sure.
Yeah,
I won't be surprised if this finishes at 20.
Lock me in, Cody. Ben, lock me in 19.5.
I wouldn't be surprised if this.
Bama.
This spread finishes up. I like Ohio State minus 19.5 against Purdue.
I do too.
I'm still waiting for Ohio State to play a complete game. If you watch that game against Maryland, I mean, they came out slow. Kyle McCord did not look great early. Marvin Harrison did not get thrown to a lot in the first half. I think Maryland was doing some stuff on defense. Obviously, the safety was bracketing him a little bit. But you got Ibuku, who I think is healthy. Banged his ankle up a little bit last week. But that defense for Ohio State's for real. They're for real because Maryland's got NFL receivers running all over the place. I'm still waiting for Ohio State to play a complete game. I think this is a game you do against Purdue, correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think they're going to be better than Purdue up front. That's what worried me about the Maryland game. I mean, Maryland up front, that first half. I mean, Maryland looked like the better team. I mean, now they're making crazy catches in the end zone. Maryland and Ohio State, I think, sleepwalked a little bit, but Purdue's just not a good football team.
No, they're not.
They're not.
The defense for Ohio State's legit.
So last
they're
week,
keeping them in every game.
Yeah, last week I took Iowa minus 2.5 at home against Purdue. It's the bet I felt the best about. Like, it's the reason I put it in my locks. I mean, that one, I know Purdue scored that touchdown there at the end to make it 6. I mean, still covered. But no, I love that bet as well.
Man, I'm looking at Georgia minus 31.5 at Vandy, and everything I'm about to say applies to Michigan playing Indiana as well, which I think is at minus 34.
Isn't that like an inverse? Isn't that like an exact parallel game?
Yes, it is. So everything applies to both of these games. Georgia is obviously 31.5 points better than Vanderbilt. The question is, how badly do they come out and want to beat them? Last week when you saw them play Kentucky, Kirby Smart's sensing, okay, this is supposed to be the next best team in the SEC East. Okay, I'm gonna make a statement then, and they put up over 50 points. Obviously, they could do the same thing against Vanderbilt. Do they do that, though? Or are they trying to not get guys hurt? Are they playing younger guys? That's the question for me.
Well, the younger guys at Georgia better than the older guys at Vanderbilt. That's what I think. And I think, obviously, they are. I mean, I look at this, and it's just 31. You can buy down to 30 if you want to, but I don't see a way in the world Georgia doesn't cover in this game. I don't see, it's probably going to be 28-0.5. It's probably going to be 28-0.5. It's going to be 24.
Well, is this one of the games where Georgia scores 14 points like in the first 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, always. I mean, look, they'll find Brock will somehow be open, and they'll be up 17-0 first quarter. They're going to walk in up, to me, this might be a 56-10 type of game. And a late touchdown by Vandy because all the walk-ons. That's the only way I see this game going.
Carson Beck is so, like, if you look at the time, like Carson Beck is on pace to have an incredible year. But when you look at the time in the pocket that Carson Beck has had this year, it's insane. It's insane. Like, his completion percentage is nuts. Like, you go back and watch the tape, I'm just watching him. It's like when the fat kid's hitting and he hits a sharp ground ball to short. You know? You ain't got to hurry. You pat it 3 times. Look at your girl. She's in the 3rd row. Got all dressed up for you. You're the shortstop. What the hell else you expect? You know, take your time. Let him get halfway down there. Let big guy get some work in.
I said this last week. If you are a betting person, now is the time to take Georgia's and the Michigan because they're going to start rolling kids.
Yeah.
Rolling kids.
Starting to figure it out.
They're starting to figure it out. Michigan is as deep as they come. Like, Michigan's walk-ons are better than Indiana's starters, probably. You saw P.J. Fleck come out and said, this is the best team I've seen since I've been here, talking about Michigan. This is the time to put everything you have on Georgia and Michigan to cover. For the next couple weeks. You can go down the schedule.
Yeah. Another one I like. They've been an absolute wagon. James Madison at home. Georgia Southern's not a bad football team. Shout out to your hometown, Statesboro, right? Where apparently, like, everybody who's ever been famous is from. They're a 3.5-point favorite at home, but I'm going to buy that down to 2.5. I never take 3.5s. I never take 6.5s. All right? I don't like it. I hate it. They're the worst. Give me James Madison minus 2.5 at home. I'm going to pull up, but you can get that right now on DraftKings on the alternate line. But guys, I mean, this James Madison team, I don't think people talk about them enough.
They're good.
With what they've done since coming over. You see some of these teams that have come over, you can get James Madison at minus 2.5. That's at minus 154, but I'd rather win money at minus 154 than have my pants pulled down because Georgia Southern plays punches a little bit above their weight, and James Madison has to kick a field goal at home to win. But, I mean, that over's not a bad look either, David, at 58.5, because I do think Georgia Southern can score. But give me James Madison minus 2.5. I wonder if this may fluctuate a little bit on the alternate line. I may give it some time to see if it goes down and you can kind of get some better juiced odds. But if you have one of those, hey, get a 50% boost on this bet, and you want to throw some big change on a bet while using one of those boosts, I think James Madison minus 2.5. They've been an absolute.
It's not a bad bet. I like the over there as well. Georgia Southern scores a lot of points, but they also give up a lot of points. I like this Utah and Cal under 45. I've been looking at these Utah unders week in and week out because their defense is still really good. But, with the quarterback situation, if Cam Rising isn't playing, clearly they have a deficiency on the offensive side. Cal already has trouble scoring. Under 45 to me seems like a good bet. And then I was looking at the LSU Auburn as well. LSU minus 11.5. I just like that bet right now.
I'm so with you. We were talking about this before the show. There's a couple reasons. And this all goes back to, look, this year it's year 1 for Hugh Freeze. He's putting the pieces together. Auburn obviously looked better against Georgia, had the bye week. They're getting healthier. LSU on offense right now, they're a top 2, top 3 offense in the country. If I had to sit here and pick 2 offenses that I would not want to play against right now, the 2 I would pick, USC and LSU. Those are the 2, if we're going to be honest. Now, I know defensively they've struggled. Auburn has not passed for 100 yards in like the last 7 Power 5 games. I think they're going to have success against LSU's defense because, basically right now the Little Giants could have success against LSU's defense. But I saw Peyton Thorne on the road at A&M. That Peyton Thorne on the road looks a lot different than the Peyton Thorne that I've seen at home. I saw it at Cal, and then I saw it at Kyle Field. And if you think the 12th man is bad, you're walking into Mordor down in Baton Rouge. There's things being born into the mud that they're like pulling out down there. That's why I know Auburn went down there last time and won because Bo Nix just went absolutely Chris Angel mind freak. But I just don't trust, not that Auburn can't score, but they don't have a pass rush, right? They have to manufacture pressure. They're not stopping LSU's offense. Nobody is stopping LSU's offense right now. I like LSU to cover this. It may end up being a lock. I don't see, this has actually gone down from 12.5 to 11.5. So maybe I let it go down to 10.5. Then maybe I buy it down to 9.5. This just feels like a 41-24 game. Or maybe 48-27 game. That's what it feels like to me. LSU's hot, as hot as it gets right now on offense.
There's something about this game that's just weird to me. I think Auburn covers. Auburn covers in this game. LSU's defense is atrocious. One of the worst defenses in college football. We're not talking about the SEC. one of the worst defenses in college football. Terrible against the run. Terrible against the pass. I mean, Auburn hadn't thrown for a 100-yard passing game all year. Well, hell, here's your opportunity. There's not a guy on this defense that can tackle Jarquez Hunter, okay? And if anything, Peyton Thorne's legs might come into play in this game. I think Jane Daniels in the offense is obviously going to have a good game, but I think Auburn's got some guys in the secondary that can play now. Simpson can play. They got guys. I think LSU's a better team, obviously, especially with the offense. But I think Auburn's going to come in with a little chip on their shoulder, especially with the way they performed at home against Georgia. You know, I think it's close, but I think LSU carries away late. Just to kudos to how good Jane Daniels is. But I think Auburn gets up for this game, and I think it's close.
Well, we're all a fan of somebody, and I hope you're right. But here's the problem. LSU's got a really good offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn can't rush the passer. With four, they can't rush the passer, which means they're going to have to bring pressure. I don't care if you had Deion Sanders and Ed Reed and Methuselah and whoever else back there in the secondary. If Jane Daniels is able to sit back there for 5 or 6 seconds, or then just take off at will and just feel comfortable in the pocket, there's not a DB in the world that's going to sit there and cover Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors and Mason Taylor at tight end and these guys for that long. I just don't see how Auburn gets Jaden Daniels down. I don't see it. And again, I hope I'm wrong. I would love to come on here on Monday and be like, guys, I was so wrong. But I'm betting to win money, right? And I just look at this matchup, and I don't see how Auburn's defense has been the best part of their team this year. But you're going up against an elite offense. LSU has everything. It's like the Cheesecake Factory menu. Like you walk in there, I can get cheesecake.
They do have everything.
I can get Mandarin chicken. I can get chicken Parmesan. I can get chicken Marsala. Hell, they probably have some stuff I never even heard about before.
But we've talked about this with other teams. We're going to talk about this with this Auburn team. If you're Auburn, you play keep away for as long as you can in this game. And as good as you're going to be able to run the ball, you can do it.
Can you throw it?
You can do it. Yes.
You've come a long way from telling people to put their rent on Auburn or on Georgia playing at Auburn.
That's a different beast. Trust me. I've watched Georgia come in here and whip our ass on the regular.
I would much rather play Georgia at home than go play LSU on the road. I would much rather that.
I wouldn't.
Really?
No. What? I don't want to play Georgia anywhere ever. Ever. I don't care if it's in Atlantis. I do not want to play these guys.
That would be pretty
I'd
cool.
rather go play LSU, who couldn't tackle a kid in a wheelchair.
Hey, real quickly, though, before we move on, we're going to get more into this game. Maryland -14 at home against Illinois. Illinois is a bad football team.
Yeah, they're bad.
Bad football team. Maryland, we saw too, they're going to be pissed off after what happened against Ohio State.
Just kick the field goal before half.
Yeah, just kick the field goal before half. Another one I like, Central Michigan at home against Akron. Oh, sorry, I meant Akron with their backup quarterback that our guy Pat McAfee tried to gas up last week. Pat
McAfee also picked.
I watched him blow it 2 weeks ago. The undercuff dude, I would rather just keep him undercover.
How about Missouri +114 money line?
Not touching it.
That game just
Is that one? I keep
that was radioactive.
Because I keep doing the same thing. I'm like, nah, pass.
That game is radioactive.
I keep doing pass. There's too many other good bets, and then my eyes just keep coming back.
I mean, Louisville -7.5 against Pittsburgh.
-7.5. I hate. Did it go down to 7.5?
It's sitting at 7.5. That's the last time
It's sitting at 7.5. I said 8 when I saw it.
Okay,
It's amazing.
you
Those
in the
Pitt
year.
fans in my DMs are
Like, do you think Louisville, is it kind of, they got up so much for the Notre Dame game last week, they might come out sluggish? I don't know. I mean, Plumbers look good. Thrash is obviously an NFL kid at receiver. Brom is an absolute win.
This is where I think going on the road helps you. When you're coming off like a big win,
You have
like at home, because you have to refocus, right? And it's easier to focus, guys, when you're having to leave and you got to go on the road and we're going to take their steak and their remote and all this other stuff. Real quickly, last one, Iowa, Wisconsin, under 36.5.
I have it right here. It's 36.5, and I'm still going to take the under.
Like, why? Was it Iowa State was 36.5 too? That's such a low
I know, it's
total.
insane.
But, I mean.
I'm with you.
17, what? What do you think? 17-10? Maybe?
7-10.
Maybe? Do we get into the teens?
17.
But no, we want to know what you think.
Yeah.
There's a couple early week bets to take. Going to get to the Boost Cup call-ins. The line's open here in 6 minutes. We want to hear from you. But also we want to let you know right now, Jeremy's Razors is doing a special partnership where you can win a free trip to Las Vegas to see Power Slap 5 on October 25th. And guess what? We're going to be there too. All you have to do between now and October 14th is purchase a Precision 5 Razor Starter Set or Jeremy's Chocolate All right, that's between now and October 14th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, and you'll be entered to win a VIP trip to see Power Slap live. It's an exclusive event. This isn't open to the public. All the cool kids are going to be there, and one lucky winner will receive 4 tickets to Las Vegas to see Power Slap 5. So slap the hell out of your shaving routine with Jeremy's Razors. Go to jeremy'srazors.com/slap. That's jeremy'srazors.com/slap for complete sweepstakes rules and to purchase your Precision 5 or Jeremy's Chocolate to enter. You got to be 18 years or older or be a U.S. citizen. So if you're not, thanks for watching, but sorry about it. No purchase necessary. See jeremy'srazors.com/slap for more details. That'll make sense once you go to jeremy'srazors.com/slap for more.
Let's do it. Power Slap.
So excited about that. 2 grown men. We interviewed a couple of the Power Slap guys too. I mean, these are massive guys. One guy played in the NFL. You're getting slapped by a 6'5", 365-pound grown man. Good luck. Sleepy.
I'm not.
Booster Club, quickly.
Let's go to Ram Spencer. He says all the Pac-12 teams this year will probably blow at least one game.
Yep.
Y'all see anybody making it unscathed out of the Pac-12?
I think if Oregon wins this weekend,
I just said
Oregon wins this weekend.
There's these 3 to 4 week spells. Wait, I got Oregon's schedule pulled up right here. I was actually looking at this, Ram Spencer. This is a great call. There's one caveat in here too I want to make. So you've got at Washington, then you're home against Washington State. Now that game at Utah looking a whole hell of a lot easier than it was at the beginning of the year when we thought the Dark Knight Cam Rising was going to come back early. So you go to Utah, you get Cal at home, and here's the big thing. You get USC at home.
Yep.
You go to Arizona State where, I like dilly, but you're just better than they are. Then you get Oregon State at home. If any team is making it unscathed through this whole deal, I think it's Oregon. I really do.
I had Oregon losing 2 games, on the road at Washington, on the road at Utah. So if they do beat Washington this weekend, just like you said, I agree with you on having more confidence going on the road and beating Utah. You'd have to like their chances.
You'd have to really like their chances. Then when you look on the other side at Washington, I've got that pulled up right here, unbelievably quickly. They've got Oregon at home, Arizona State at home, at Stanford. You go to USC, you get Utah at home, then you go to Oregon State. Right, and then Washington State at home.
Those last 4, man.
So those last 4, even if you beat Oregon here, you could drop 2 of those last 4 and Oregon still go. But what did I say about the Pac-12? Their best chance to make the playoff is that they've got multiple teams that are really good. But their worst chance of making the playoff is because they have multiple teams.
But that may happen around the rest of the country.
No, I think it will.
Texas and Oklahoma in a rematch, they could kind of cannibalize, give each other a loss. Florida State could still drop one down the stretch in the ACC. The Big Ten East, obviously, is going to work itself out. So, if the champion still has one loss,
I think they get in.
Chance.
I think they get in. I think a one-loss Pac-12 team gets in.
All right, let's go to Turd Ferguson.
Nice.
He says, rain doesn't matter that much when you're talking about weather games. Apparently, there's a lot of bad weather coming to the Midwest. This weekend. It rained during the whole Ohio State and Maryland game. Didn't seem to have much an effect. Since the weather is bad, are we taking a lot of unders in the Midwest?
I'm going to look at it. I typically look at the weather on Thursdays because I want that forecast to get closer to the weekend because it can change. Again, maybe that's because I lived by the water for a long time and the weather changes every 13 minutes. But I like to wait until at least Thursday or Friday before I start making decisions on weather games. But that's a big part of it as well. Not that you can't get some stuff from the weather, right, on Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday, but I like to go ahead and get into that Thursday and then look at that 5-day forecast and kind of, because by that time, the meteorologist, he's been outside, he's licked the ground a couple times, threw some grass in the air, he's got a good feeling about it.
He just wants the golf course to himself.
That's exactly right.
Let's go to Gazarian Gozar. He said Oregon will either lose at UW or at Utah. Don't see it at Utah. Maybe at UW.
I think UW's the best chance, right? If we're going to talk about road games, I already told you the home games. You get Oregon State and USC at home. But this is the biggest, flashing light, alert, danger, Will Robinson. You're going to Washington. All right, I'm going to get into rapid fire quickly before we get to phone calls, and I'm sure we're going to get asked about Tennessee and Texas A&M anyways.
Soak it in. Just soak it in. Braves held scoreless in the first game of the playoffs. Scoreless through the first 6 innings yesterday. I was saying really mean things.
We had to go to the reverse psychology thing, which we've been doing on the show for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And it worked. Last night I had to put out a tweet after, Zach Wheeler was just absolutely shoving it.
We couldn't hit him.
Couldn't hit him, but it was like after the 6th inning is like on Beer Fest when like they pretended to be drunk and then like they're like wobbling around and then they're like, wait a minute, they're not that drunk. Like that's the Braves just like figured it out. So I put out a tweet. It's like the Braves always know how to let me down. Sure enough, right? Baseball gods flip it on its head. This is what Atlanta does. Let's play the clip. Austin Riley. We stand Austin Riley on this show. Play it.
I love his stance.
One-handed tank.
Hello.
America.
We needed it most.
Oh, I knew it was gone.
We needed it most.
You throw a kill me slider.
He guessed right on 3-2.
You know who doesn't get love? You know who doesn't get love for the Braves? Travis d'Arnaud.
Travis
you hit a
d'Arnaud.
2-run tank in the bottom of the seventh.
Travis
Those are the
d'Arnaud,
guys you
Goofy
got to
Trav.
have.
Yeah.
Goofy
Those
Trav.
are the guys you got to have.
I mean, one-handed though. And remember, Austin Riley's biggest bugaboo when he came up
Couldn't hit the breaking ball.
Couldn't hit the slider.
Fastball only.
And what does he do?
Now
I'm
look
telling
at
you
him.
now, let's go steal one from Philly. Let's go steal one from Philly. And to our Phillies fans out there, we love you guys too. We're all fans of somebody. But how about we just go win two?
Well, here's the thing. If Philly won that one last night, they were going to win this
They're
series.
gonna win this
Hands down. You're talking about a team that, first of all, beat the Braves in the playoffs last year and went to the World Series. There wasn't going to be any losing 3 straight.
Yeah.
Now you at least have a shot, but still, they're going to throw Aaron Nola next game. Like, the starting pitching for the Phillies is so good.
Needed that to be able to get to game 4.
Yeah.
That's what you needed.
And then Diamondbacks, man. 4-2 over the Dodgers, up 2-0 in that series.
Telling you.
Dude, they said if the Rangers have been listening to Creed, the Diamondbacks have to be banging Nickelback.
Yeah.
Like that was like they have to, but they keep jumping the Dodgers. They jump them early. Like that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do, especially on the road. You got to jump them early. They turn the corner, punch in the face. Give me your wallet. I'm taking your shoes too.
All right, Astros Twins tonight. That series tied 1 apiece, and then Orioles are at the Rangers. Man, Texas up 2-0 in that series.
Orioles need it bad. Remember the division series is 5 games, so they can close it out tonight. The Twins at home, what a great story. I'm adopting the Twins in the American League.
You're adopting them?
I'm adopting the Twins. I still can't remember the name of that movie that we were talking about yesterday. Can't remember it.
I think it's Little Big League.
There's a
right?
kid. There's a kid. It's a
Or is it
kid.
Rookie of the Year?
I don't think it's Rookie of the Year. Isn't Rookie of the Year with Dennis Quaid?
That's the rookie.
No, that's the Rookie. Rookie of the Year is the one where he hurts
All right,
his
I'm going to
arm,
look
right?
this up.
He breaks his
What's the
arm and then he
scene?
throws
What's the
really
scene?
fast.
What, someone's hitting.
It's like he's against Randy Johnson. It's the red.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
movie with twins.
Oh no, Rookie of the Year, he plays for the Cubs.
And kid, yeah, because he can throw it really hard, right?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's Little Big League.
Kid takes
Little
over the
Big
Twins.
League.
Little Big League.
There we go.
He's a 12-year-old who suddenly becomes the owner and then manager of the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Is
That's
it
wild.
Timothy Busfield or Dennis Farina is the redheaded guy I'm talking about?
Little
Tries to
Big
kill the
League.
president's kid on that one.
Love it. All right, man. Monday Night Football. Raiders 17-13 over the Packers. Jordan Love on the road throws 3 picks.
These Monday night games are just garbage. Just garbage. They're just garbage.
Great game.
Pick the Raiders money line. Happy about it. I guess the Packers don't want to throw it to Dobbs. That's cool. Whatever. Christian Watson comes back. Cool. Whatever. It was just it was an ugly game. Josh McDaniels, go for it, dude. Go for it.
He's the worst coach. He's the worst coach.
Like go for it at the end. What are you doing? I know hindsight's always 2020.
When I say some guys are just coordinators, and there's no disrespect in that.
you know what?
You're a coordinator.
To me, you have to have
that.
some feel, right? I mean, Josh Jacobs have like one of the worst handoff to contact rates in the league, which he's getting hit like 0.3 yards after he touches the ball. But in that game, they were starting to lean on him at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That run game was working, right? You were starting to figure it out, put 2 and 2 together, put liquid paper on a B. Like hey, go for it, man. Go for it. Because now you missed a field goal. You give the Packers the momentum. You know, Jordan Love's end up turning over. By the way, he had 2 really bad picks in that game. That first pick he threw to Spillane was just, here.
He's not the guy. And I tweeted this out, and I caught, it's only his 6th start. It's only 6. I see Trey Lance written all over this guy.
I think he's better than Trey Lance.
A little bit. If anything, a little bit. Jordan Love's not going to be the guy. He's not. He's not a Packers fan. I'm going to tell you this right now. Right now. And with the quarterbacks coming out in this draft,
they're not going to move on from Jordan Love that quick.
Give him a little time.
Hey.
A little more time, I think. Also, the NHL season starts today. Predators at the Lightning. Great. Good luck.
Great
Thanks.
start.
Awesome.
We see Blaine's
Start off
Flyers
hot.
can come through.
Blackhawks at the Penguins and Kraken at the Golden Knights.
Dude, I just wish that those
Stanley
mascots
Cup.
could really fight each other. Like, can you imagine that? The
Kraken.
Blackhawks at the Penguins? Bunch of Indians fighting a bunch of pissed off Penguins with weapons? How about the Golden Knights versus the Kraken? Hell, if Jack Sparrow could beat them, they got a shot. That's the way I see it. Or maybe Oh Boy from the Titans movie.
This is the best time of year. We got college football, NFL, Major League Baseball, playoffs. It's 68 degrees.
Feels amazing.
NHL starting.
I just want to go. You know, it feels good outside when you just want to go sit in the woods. Like I want to go sit in the woods and watch the animals.
Want to go camping?
Don't tempt me. Hey, I know
What
where you're
y'all
going with that. Yeah.
All right, last one up. I did a huddle up breakdown of the Oklahoma-Texas play.
Let's do it. Then we're going to get to calls. This is great stuff. Some people's favorite segment. All right, David, take it away.
Yeah, break it down.
Huddle up. Let's take a look at Dillon Gabriel's game-winning touchdown pass for Oklahoma against Texas in the Red River Shootout. This is gun, Z to Liz Sting weak, razor stash, X slam. Let's break it down. It's 2nd and goal, no timeouts. The clock is running. We're on the 3-yard line. We're in the shotgun. 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. So this is 11 personnel. Now, what's the defense giving us? They're in their nickel package, 5 defensive backs, no safety in the middle of the field. It looks like man coverage, cover 0 with pressure. What's the best way to help identify that? Motion. And this is where all the confusion starts for Texas. Oklahoma motions that Z receiver to a sting position into the boundary. Now watch how this spur backer initially runs with the Z, and then he passes it off. Who's he passing to? Is it the strong safety, the will, the corner? Let's draw up our concept here and see who gets lost. This is stash, which is a combination of smash and stick. So the Z receiver who we motioned is on the corner route to the back of the end zone, and the Y, our tight end, is running his stick route. It looks like the strong safety is moving out to accept his man responsibility on the Z, but when we come out of our break, he runs with the tight end to the flat. The corner stays on his blitz, and the will linebacker is in no man's land, which allows Nick Anderson to get behind everyone for the touchdown on the corner route. Now, we have to talk about our protection here for a second. Texas is bringing a 6-man pressure. 4 down linemen, the Mike from the field, and the corner cat from the boundary, and it doesn't get called off once the Z receiver motions. The left tackle saves this play. Our pass protection is razor, which is a quick game, 6-man slide pass protection. So technically, we have 6 to block 6. The halfback cuts the end man on the line of scrimmage, and we slide away, but the left guard here doesn't slide. So the left tackle is holding off the defensive end and the corner all by himself. If you're Texas, you're kicking yourself for not getting home here, but excellent job by the left tackle to give Dillon Gabriel just enough time to throw this ball from a phone booth for the biggest play of his career. This is gun, Z to Liz Sting weak, razor stash, X slam.
Great stuff, David. Me and you looked at this play yesterday, and, you know, I'm not in there and I can't hear the call exactly, but a couple things have to happen. When that gets passed off, if you're not going to go with the motion guy, that gets passed off, either the corner has to abort his blitz, because what you got was trips closed, 3-by-1 with the tight end. You kept that backside safety. You weren't cross-keying that backside safety, which means you take the backside safety and cover number 3 with them, right, from across the line. You had some match coverage man on the 3-man side. But when you got that motion and the spur bumps that off because he doesn't travel, either the corner, who you were going to bring off that edge because the safety could take the tight end, right? You had that one backer that was going to take the back, was lined up on the same side as the back, so probably had peel rules, which means you're blitzing, but if the back goes out on a swing, you're going to take him. You abort your blitz and take him. But either the corner has to say, all right, I've got the motion guy, I'm aborting my blitz. The safety is going to take the tight end like he was initially, and now the spur that passed off the blitz becomes the blitzer from the other side because you went from 3-by-1 to 2-by-2. Or you say, that's fine, corner, you still blitz. Now the safety is going to bump out and take the guy in motion, and that inside backer is now going to take the tight end, even though he's kind of out leveraged. But what ends up happening is the spur that passed off the motion guy ends up covering nobody.
I know.
He's in no man's land. So either one of those answers would have been correct. You did neither, and you ended up having a 2-on-1 play where they caught him in the back. That was a great breakdown. Fantastic breakdown. Going to get your phone calls right now, but really quickly, speaking about great breakdowns, do you break down in the morning when you don't have enough caffeine? Or maybe your coffee's just mid and you don't want to wake up and deal with it? Well, guess what? We got the answer. It's Black Rifle. All right? The best coffee around. Everybody knows we drink it every single morning. I mean, look, it's right here.
Now.
Right here. It's the best part of waking up. Yeah, that's right. I said it. All right. Not only do they have ready-to-drink cans for people with no time to brew coffee, you're running a hurry-up up-tempo offense in your life, I understand it. Josh Heupel probably drinks it. But their coffee subscription gives you the chance to purchase limited time edition flavors. And boy, did they got some. They just launched their Halloween pumpkin spice collection, right? Everybody just raving about it, especially in Baltimore, featuring the Headless Horseman's roast and ready-to-drink pumpkin spice espresso. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say. We also got Blackbeard's Delight, the Headless Horseman's roast, Gunship,
keeps moving
Power
these bags. I'm
Llama.
gonna find out who
It's
you
just a great situation. All right, they help out with veterans. It is a patriotic company. I'm telling you, it is purely American. So go to blackriflecoffee.com, use promo code Booster, BOOSTER at checkout for 10% off your order. It's blackriflecoffee.com. Use that promo code for 10% off. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee.
Do it now.
Let's get to calls, dog.
All right, calls. All right, we got Jan on the line in Lubbock. Jan, what's up?
Dan, what's up?
Hey, boys. Well, you know I'm a pretty happy girl this week.
Yeah, Tech played
But
well.
I want to first of all want to thank Blaine. Blaine last week came through for Texas Tech.
I got
Now,
you, Jan.
Jake, I'm a little concerned. You've really been a good Tech fan this whole year. It's been great. Last week you didn't support Tech, and guess what? So I'm nervous about your future.
Well,
predictions.
listen, I wasn't going to touch that game. I was not going to bet the Texas Tech at Baylor game, but here's the thing. I'm still with Joey McGuire, all right? I'm in Big Mac land with old Joey Mac. But at the end of the day, I mean, come on, man. I just believe Ted Lasso, and I just get spit in my face. Spat in my face. That's why I'm just supporting local sports now.
Well, good for you. Well, two things. I think Joey needs to wear that T-shirt, Swing the Sword. The homage was great. He needs to wear that every game this year. I think Taj Brooks needs some serious love. What a fantastic guy.
Yep.
But here's my main question. They brought out the chains last game, a couple of games, that Kansas game also. And I heard a lot of the commentators talk about, well, we got to get rid of chains. We've got to just have, some technology in here. Personally, I love the chains. That's always, to me, one of the most fun parts of a game is you hold your breath, waiting to see what's going to happen. And then you have a whole week of arguing with your other fans about what was right.
Well,
What a great take.
It's almost like the do we need robot umpires situation, right? Because half the beauty of it is kind of the human element and then the arguments. I'll say this, okay, especially as someone who bets on the games. Why do we not, at this point, we can keep the chains out there. Keep them out there. We can measure and do all this and still go through the protocols. I'm fine with it. There's two things I don't understand. One, why is there not a sensor on the ball and a sensor at the first down line, whether it's on the chain or whatever, where when that sensor crosses that other sensor, it's a first down.
And they have the technology.
And they have the technology. The second thing, why in the sweet Lord's name does the referee have to go over to the video box? Why? What you have in every game, even in the high school level, you have like a video conference room. There's some in some CIA building or in some on some aircraft carrier. There's one of those boxes they transport stuff in where all these guys are with these TVs that are looking at it. They make the decision anyway. They're the ones making the decision. The SEC office in Birmingham, whenever they flip back to it, the referee's not looking at it no, you guys are wrong. That's definitely fourth down. Keep him there. Let the guys that are in there tell him, he's got a microphone, hey, guess what, Ron? It's a first down, buddy. Or, hey, it was an incomplete pass. And then have it expedited. Stop making the referee run over there and look at a video box. I don't understand it.
I'm more worried about referees spotting the ball. Referees are terrible at spotting footballs. They're bad at it. Look, even you can watch from TV, it's not that hard, guys. It's really not. I think this year has been one of the worst years I've watched referees spotting the football.
There's got to be.
really
Jan, I'm with you. I think there's a great intersection between science and then not turning the game into a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet.
Appreciate it, Jan.
Thank you, Jan. Have a
Thanks,
great
Jan.
day.
Okay, thanks, boys. You too.
Bye-bye. All right, let's go to Jacob in Minnesota. Jacob, what's up?
Hey, boys. How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing. I didn't get to a last call, but I think started us off call sign. I'm a huge F1 fan and cars in general, so I think call sign's going to have to be Speed Racer.
Speed Racer. We got you locked in.
I love it.
Max
Locked in.
Verstappen, champ.
Yeah. So both my teams won last week. Nebraska won over Illinois, and Bears finally took a win. Now, I want to stick on the Bears because I think if we didn't win that, Eberflus is probably out the door.
I agree with
I
that.
want to ask you boys, how much longer are we going to trust Eberflus, seeing that DJ Moore and Fields are starting to form this connection, really starting to hit their stride?
Well, you've got to see if that was just fool's gold, right? Because it was fool's gold against the Broncos when you got up early and then it fell apart. Like it's one of those things where you have to kind of ride the roller coaster all the way through, right? You don't want to get too low. You don't want to get too high. We'll know probably within the next 4 games. And I don't have the Bears schedule pulled up. I can pull it. You got what do they got next?
They have the Vikings next.
Vikings with no Justin Jefferson.
It's a five. It's kind of their 5-game stretch. You got Minnesota, Raiders, Chargers, Saints, Panthers, Lions.
It's time to get rid of Eberflus.
Well, the thing about it is like I don't want to talk about Justin Fields and their offense. Your defense is terrible, and Eberflus is a what?
Yeah.
Defensive guy, right? That's who he is. And we know about the Bears. What do we think about when we think about the Bears? We think about defense. I mean, I know you lost 31-28. You scored 28 in the first half. Justin Fields had 335 yards. He had 300 yards passing last game against Washington. The offense is going to come along, I think. But your defense right now is atrocious. It's atrocious. And if you think you're going to beat teams like Minnesota, maybe the Raiders because Josh McDaniels is a coward, but the Chargers and the Saints after beating the Pats 34-0, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You got to fix that defense.
Well, it's like, are you just going to ride it out this year, or do you rip the Band-Aid off, right? You're not going to fire him after that win he just had. So if it looks bad again, if it kind of goes back to center, if it like self-corrects back to where the Bears have been, I think you go ahead and pull the trigger, right? I mean, I think you go ahead and do it. But I'm not a believer in Eberflus.
Giving up 31
not just because he sounds like a character Dr. Seuss created.
You're giving up an average of 31 points a game.
I think they'd go after either Jim Harbaugh or Ryan Day.
I think they go after
Ain't
Ryan.
even to go to the Bears.
That's not what I said. I said that's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
is
there's
go after
something
him.
about didn't he lose his brother in the
And he played quarterback for the Bears.
for the Bears? Like,
they're going to go after one or both of those guys. Yeah.
Urban
So,
to Michigan? Sorry, Jacob, go ahead.
We'd be good.
Yeah. So we got right now the first and second pick. I have faith in Fields. I don't think we need to draft Caleb Williams right now. But are you guys leaning towards drafting Caleb Williams?
Well, what can you get?
You trade the picks.
Well, first of all, you have to be the worst team in the league, which the Patriots and there's some other teams that are really vying for that spot.
I think, again, what you'd be able to get for it. It's all, look, you get what the market bears, right? And that's not a Bears joke. Like you can only, not that you're not going to get something good for that. It's not like you're going to sell it give it away for pennies on the dollar. But I'd have to see. There's just like so many things the Bears need to fix. Like, would you rather just go ahead if you're in that spot, just take 2 good players at positions you need them?
Yeah,
if you can get Caleb Williams, you take Caleb Williams and you trade Justin Fields. If you don't pick first and you're trying to decide between, Drake May or some of these other quarterbacks, then that's where you have to have an honest conversation. Okay, let's stick with Justin Fields and let's put him with one of his old teammates like Marvis Harrison Jr. or defensive line or something.
Yeah, I don't think you take a quarterback. I don't. I think you could trade those picks and you could build your defense with those picks, the amount of picks you like. You need to play a game called How Can I Get Dallas Turner?
You also need to take, if you see Caleb Williams as like a generational talent, you need to not pass on something like that too. But unless
here's the question. The amount of picks you'll get.
Well, here's the question: what are you going to get for Justin Fields? Like that's what I'm saying. Like this, it's like where are you going to send Justin Fields?
Like Tampa Bay would give up a lot for him.
Like would Minnesota
Minnesota would give up.
If something happened with Kirk, and they wanted to move on there. I mean, there's a couple places, but it's like, damn, dog.
Giants?
Now, I'm just like, what you will get for Caleb Williams.
Squareface?
What teams will give up for Caleb Williams? You will get the amount of picks. Can set your franchise up for the next couple of years. It can. And I believe in Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is good enough to take your team to the promised land. I really do, especially when he gets more experience. The amount of picks you can get for Caleb Williams would blow your mind. Blow your mind. I don't take Caleb Williams. Give me picks.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I'll take Caleb Williams.
I agree with you. I think we need to
Thank you.
focus. We need to get back to like a 1985 kind of defense.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I know you can't even look at the quarterback these days without getting a penalty, but we need a more physical defense.
Well, the Chiefs don't have that kind of defense right now, and they're winning Super Bowls left and right because they identified that talent at quarterback. They got him, and now they're winning.
You want obviously you want balance. That's the goal, right? That's the thing you want at the end of the day.
The Chiefs also have Chris Jones and Nick Bolton. You're the two best positions in the league.
Chris he's up there. I don't know if you can make an argument.
Do you think of defense when you think of the Chiefs? You think of defense.
No, you obviously think of Patrick Mahomes, but Chris Jones,
the 85 Bears defense, the 85 Bears defense with running out quarterbacks like a Trent Dilfer type anymore is not winning the Super Bowl.
I'm not talking about the 85 Bears defense. He said
that's
that,
what
not
Jacob
me.
was talking about.
He said that, not me. You're not going to recreate the 85 Bears defense.
When's the last team that won a Super Bowl that was just average on offense?
Probably the Ravens with Joe Flacco.
Which is how long ago? Golly.
2011?
It's just the game, like the rules are so different now. Like you can't play defense. You can't touch a guy as a DB past 5 yards down the field. I still don't think people realize how ridiculously hard that is.
2013.
To cover somebody. But good call, Jacob. We'll see. I know you're excited about the Twins up there. Nebraska and Chicago fan, you really love the sport.
Man. All right, Jimbo in New York. Jimbo, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? This is your boy Q-Smoke Jimbo here.
What's up, man?
And I'm not gonna lie, it's certainly been a very humbling week. A very humbling past couple of weeks for me as both a Syracuse and a New York Giants fan. You know, it is what it is.
Like as a Syracuse fan, though, are you just not used to this, though? This is like what y'all do every year. This is y'all now. Hey, first 4, first 5, even first 6 games. Stop. Then all of a sudden, you get there, and then it just flips.
I get it. It is what it is. But my question today is specifically for you, Jake, and I would like to address you as Coach Crane for this particular topic.
For sure.
Particular topic. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this. My boy is from Syracuse. You know, we just got absolutely boat raced by UNC. You know, it is what it is. We sucked. You know, we did a terrible job in that game, and as tough as that was to take, we go into even more of an hostile environment against an even better squad in FSU, who's a legit national championship contender. And if you're the head coach of my guys in Central New York, or any team, by the way, in this particular type of situation, how do you prepare your squad from strictly a psychological standpoint to even keep your players focused and ready to compete on the highest level possible? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, look, it gets made a lot easier when you're going to play a really good team. It does a lot of the work for you. Now, if you're having to go play a middle-of-the-road team, if you're having to go play Wake Forest this week on the road, I think it would be a lot harder for them to focus. But it's amazing when you're going to play good teams. Because, you know, some of these guys want to go to the NFL too. They realize if they ball out against Florida State that tape's going to look really good. But it's not just an individual standpoint. It's easier to get off the mat. And this is what I said, you know, when you look at a team like Texas Tech after they lost to Wyoming week 1, as opposed to LSU after they lost to Florida State week 1. That next week, LSU played Grambling. Like, even if you beat them by 1,000, you're still not going to feel better. But if you're Texas Tech, and you're able to beat Oregon at home week 2. I'll never forget when I was at South Alabama, we lost to Southern Utah week 1. Lost him, should not have lost to him. Played bad, I want to give them credit. That next week, we went down and played Tulane down in the Dome, which was a big game for us, new program going to Division I, and we beat them. And then we went to beat Western Kentucky, coached by Bobby Petrino. We went on like a 3-game run and then lost at Tennessee by 7. So having that game that's against a quality opponent helps narrow your focus. The thing with Syracuse is, I mean, you go back and look at that North Carolina game. North Carolina did whatever they wanted. They did whatever they wanted. They didn't turn the ball over. I mean, you had, you know, you averaged over 4 yards a carry on offense, right? You only had 1 rushing touchdown because that's because Drake May went 33 of 47 for 442 yards and 3 touchdowns. They did whatever they wanted. I think Syracuse got beat twice by Clemson. That's what I think happened. Not that going to North Carolina you weren't excited to play, but it felt like they came out a lot differently on the road at North Carolina than they did that first week. But now you go to Florida State, a top 5 team in the country. You can't get up for this one. You got a culture problem. So I think it's going to be easier this week to get up for Florida State than it would be to, say, Wake Forest or somebody in that vein.
And I just want to add one more note in, too, because, in the Syracuse-Clemson game, man, that first drive where our quarterback, Garrett Schrader, took that hit against Clemson, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like that took a psychological toll on him. And it's just like, I feel like as a coaching staff, you got to get on him. You
know what that
Schrader's used to being hit.
Yeah, you know what that's called, though? That's called setting the tone. Don't think Clemson didn't have that made. Because you remember what Garrett Schrader did to him the first half of the game last year against Clemson? He ran through him like the plague, right? In the second half, I think he was actually beat up. They didn't run him as much. Clemson wasn't about to let that happen this year. And what Barrett Carter and them did, they said, all right, we're going to make a statement early, right? We're going to let one get at you. And that's how it's going to be the whole game. It's setting the tone. I thought that's what carried throughout the day. That and Cade Klubnik just keeps getting better and better and better. It wasn't great against Wake.
I do. And I actually was, I got to say, I was really impressed with Cade Klubnik. Good player. I thought he did I think he's a good player. And I love Dabo Swinney. I think that squad over there at Clemson is going to be good. And at the end of the day, we just got to get better as a team.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Could be worse. You remember those down days, Jimbo. But hey, let us know after this week. You never know what can happen.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate it, Jimbo.
All right, let's go to Ethan in Seattle. Ethan, what's up?
Hey, boys. It is your resident Nebraska fan. Good morning.
Nice. Y'all are everywhere, man. You're like Michigan and Bama fans. Like, I could land in Anchorage, Alaska, and walk outside and see a Nebraska fan and be like, hey, I'm about to go Big Red.
Walking in Singapore as a Michigan flag flying around there.
The difference is Michigan and Alabama wins. So I got a quick story for you guys, and then a quick question.
Go ahead.
First, my call sign, my pro team is the Chiefs, so they win for me sometimes. So my call sign, I want it to be Chief Corn.
Chief Corn, I like that. Corn. I think that was a real Native American chief. I'm sure down the line somewhere.
Probably. Story. First love is Nebraska, obviously, but let me tell you why I'm a softie for Auburn Tigers, because I grew up in Seattle, nice and close to this little town called Auburn, Washington.
Yeah.
I'm about 10 years old, starting my college football fandom when I'm seeing Cam Newton make his run with Auburn. I'm like, wow, these boys from Washington can play. I'm out here cheering, thinking I'm cheering for hometown USA when obviously not. But I've always had a soft spot for the.
That's
Auburn
funny.
Tigers.
I love that.
Look, come home,
the War Eagle there.
Yeah, come home. Come on.
Question-wise, I'm looking at this Nebraska schedule, and I'm not asking for anything insane, right? I'm still realistic, but I'm looking at the schedule. And it's one of the more manageable schedules in the Big Ten.
100%.
Period. Like we're on a bye this week. We're at home versus Northwestern, at home versus Purdue, at Michigan State, at home versus Maryland, at Wisconsin, and at home versus Iowa. And I'm looking at it, and the way our defense is playing, I know our offense is terrible. I'm just kind of waiting until next year for that one. But the way our defense is playing, I don't really see a game that we're not going to at least be competitive in.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. All right, give me that. For some reason,
I got it right here. You want schedule?
Yeah.
All right, so you got Northwestern this week.
When?
You hope so. You got Purdue at home.
Well, they're on a bye this week.
Well, okay. Right? Yeah, exactly. You got Purdue at home.
Very winnable.
You go to Michigan State.
Winnable.
Close game.
All of them are winnable.
Yeah.
I think Maryland might walk you. Maryland's got some NFL guys running.
There's some guys that can make a difference.
You go to Wisconsin.
It's a loss.
Then you got Iowa at home.
Woo! Can you go 3-2? Can you go 3-2?
Well, they got 6.
They had 6 left.
6 of them.
So can you go 4-2?
So or 3-3. I had you at 6-6 at the beginning of the year. If you can beat Northwestern, Purdue, and Michigan State, that would get you bowl eligible right there. Or let's say you drop one of those, but you figure out a way to beat a Maryland or an Iowa. That's bowl eligible.
Yeah, I like y'all against Iowa at home, and at the end, that just seems like, can y'all win 6-3?
There you go.
Like that's what it seems like.
Yep.
Who can? That's one of those cases, Blaine. Who can have the ball last, but not because it's going back back and forth, just so they can kick a field goal to win 6-3. No, look, Matt Rule's just the offense. I'm just telling you, under Matt Rule, and I know you look at his background, what he's done to turn programs around. The offense is, as crazy as it sounds, I know Nebraska fans are like, yeah, sure, we always hear this. I think the offense is going to be fixed eventually. I think
it's
Matt
already
Rule
looking better.
We'll get the
I agree.
offense right. But yeah, I think 3-3 is a very heavy possibility.
Appreciate it, Ethan.
Great call, Ethan.
Thanks.
War
Keep
Eagle,
calling
buddy.
in, man.
Thank you.
Keep us posted.
Take care.
Come home.
All right, let's roll through these. I want to try and get to everyone. Ben in Missouri, what's going on, man?
Hey, I just want to ask Blaine, when are you going to get your Netflix comedy special?
That's what I've been asking.
Because your story about going to that girl's house, and
Mozzarella
all that
stick
went down,
Stacy?
had me rolling on the floor.
It's one of the funniest things. He told that to me and my wife on Saturday when he came over to watch the game, and I about had a coronary, man. I about had a heart attack. Now, the crazy part is, sometimes I wish we could really really say some stories and stuff that happened, but we can't on here because we want to keep having a show. But some of the stuff is just absolutely hilarious.
Like I watched Shane Gillis the other day do a Netflix special, and I thought to myself, I can do this.
Yeah, I mean,
could do this. Look, I mean, I don't know if Netflix will ever reach out. Nowadays you're working out the Daily Wire. I don't know how that comps. Netflix is pretty woke.
It doesn't.
Netflix is pretty woke. But hey, there might be some things in the works here. You never know. I'll keep you updated, okay?
You never know.
Have the Daily Wire do a comedy special and just attract so many subscribers. Because I'm already a subscriber, but I'd do that.
Look, I love it. Scream it from a mountain.
Yeah, you never know what's around the corner.
Just don't touch my mozzarella sticks.
Yeah,
it's not anything. You could eat one.
Yeah.
You can eat one, but she's up there.
Some respect.
She's up there licking on the plate.
It's like potato skins. Why are you eating the skin off first, you monster? But don't talk when the game's on. Somebody was like, oh, what misogyny? I was like, I tell my boys that. You know the difference though? My boys, you know what they're talking about? Hey, we need a 3 to cover. I can get with that. We can talk about that together as friends.
You can never go easy, then go hard.
That's exactly right. You got to
set the tone. When it comes to coaching. Coaching is like being in a relationship.
Bet she won't do it.
You got to go hard, then go easy.
Yeah.
All right? It's hell on the field.
Yeah.
It's love off the field.
That's exactly right.
The game's on. Shut up.
And you know what? I never leave the apartment with me being mad at you or you being mad at me.
There you go.
Great call.
There you go, Ben. Thanks, buddy. Good luck.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, Ben.
Appreciate it,
That
Ben.
is right.
That is right, Ben.
That is the rightest.
Thank you, Ben. All right, let's go to Parker in Kentucky. Parker, what's up?
Parker.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to talk about the Notre Dame Louisville game.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
How awesome was that?
Yes. I'm guessing you're a Louisville fan being in Kentucky?
Oh, yeah.
Louisville.
100%.
Louisville. I'm trying to get better at that.
Unique New York.
It just lets me know where you're from.
Louisville.
If you say Louisville, I know you're probably just from Louisville.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's exactly right.
It's just a call sign. But no, that was that game. Being at that game was awesome. Having a full stadium, just the atmosphere was just unbelievable.
I bet Brian Brahman got to have to buy a beer for a long time over there. What a great, how I said, Sam Pittman in Arkansas felt like a great fit, but it doesn't seem like it's going to work out. And then Scott Frost goes to Nebraska.
Some of my guys out there.
Not that Pittman played at Arkansas, but he's kind of like a hog molly. But you get Braum back at Louisville with his brother at OC. I feel like I'm watching Three Ninjas.
Let's roll through the rest of their schedule right here. You got Pitt. You're going to Pitt this week, winnable game.
Oh, very winnable.
Okay, then you go to Duke. How's Riley Leonard? What's the ankle looking like?
Yeah, I need to check it out.
Winnable game. I think your offense is good enough to roll with them. You go kill Virginia Tech. All right, then you have Virginia at home. You go to Miami. Mario will find a way to blow it. All right, then you have Kentucky at home, which is winnable. I'm telling you, Louisville.
You got Kentucky at home. They got
Kentucky at home. You go to Miami. Louisville
flying the ointment.
One game.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what happened. Let's say it all goes good for Louisville. Can they beat Florida State in the ACC championship?
I think so.
I don't think so.
I think Florida State
run the table.
I think Florida State's defense got some problems.
Then they got to go to the playoff. Then Louisville's in the playoff.
100%. 100%.
The real thing is, if they play like they did against Notre Dame, I think they can take Florida State on.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you go back and watch that Virginia Tech versus Florida State.
Is Florida State going to turn it over? Is Florida State going to turn it over like Notre Dame did? Like, because I think that game had to go exactly like it went for Louisville to win. And I'm sorry, I still don't trust Plummer, though. I still don't trust him.
That's fair.
Right? I still don't trust him. He didn't do it. He didn't have to do a ton in that game. If y'all can run the ball like that, if y'all can run the ball like that against Notre Dame, I mean, hell, who knows in reality?
Florida State gave up 230 yards rush against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, but I think they'd get up a lot more for Louisville in the ACC championship game than Virginia Tech and Brent.
I just think
shy guy, the pry guy.
Louisville being this good. I really don't. They don't know how to handle it.
They've had good years.
They held Notre Dame to 44 yards.
That was the biggest thing.
Yeah,
that was the biggest shock to us, pretty much, of the college football weekend. Not that Jalen Milroe.
32 in the first half.
Yeah, it was look. I watched him get stuffed more than a pizza crust. All right, on 3rd and short and downs that mattered with a 300-pound running back.
Florida State's really good. Let's go and say that. That is true.
Yes.
Appreciate it, Parker.
Parker, thanks. Hey, call in, man. Let's see if we can keep Louisville hot.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Parker, of course, buddy. Thank you.
All right, let's go to Dane in Washington. Dane, what's going
on?
I
love hot. Washington loves him some Granite Company. Who'd have thought?
Born in the dog.
Yeah, we do.
I love it.
I have a question about what you think the biggest key to the game is for the Ducks versus the Huskies.
Go ahead. Oh, what do I think it is? Yeah, it's what I led the show off with, man. I think Oregon is just a more balanced team. And I don't mean that run to pass on offense. I mean that as a team. I think Oregon can run the ball offensively, can keep Washington on the sideline a decent amount. Washington's going to get theirs, right? You're not going to stop Washington the whole game, but you can limit them, especially with this new clock rule. But I think there's a lot better chance of Oregon winning. If Oregon's offense doesn't play great, I think the defense can bail them out, as opposed to if Washington's offense doesn't play great, I don't think Washington's defense can bail them out. I think it's a physicality thing. I think it's a team balance thing. Those things go hand in hand.
I think, one thing you got to look at in this game is penalties. It's penalties. I mean, Washington, 12 penalties against Arizona. I had Oregon. I think Oregon had 14 penalties against Texas Tech, which is insane. I mean, which team can play cleaner football? That comes turnovers, penalties, special teams.
I think it's Oregon. I think the key to the game is, can Washington's DB find some way to limit Troy Franklin and our tight end?
Yeah.
Last year, no one could stop anybody, and our coach went for it on our own 30 on 4th and 1, and they kicked the field goal and won. And Bo Nix got hurt in that game.
Yep.
I don't think that's going to happen again. I just don't think Washington can stop the balance we have.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Franklin's a monster, and he's not the only one they have. Like, Franklin down the field, talking about he's taking the top off more than Matthew McConaughey on Sorority Row. Like, that's a scary thought.
And no one talks about it, but our tight end's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, y'all got skilled players all over the field. The crazy thing is, I think y'all's offensive line may be better this year than it was last year, and y'all lost a ton up front.
No, it is. It's been getting better because we bring in high recruits now. I think if we win this game, we are going to run the table.
I don't think that's crazy.
Other than Cam Rising, I don't know if he's like out for the season.
I think y'all beat him even with Cam Rising. With a limited Cam Rising, I think y'all beat him.
If you're Utah, I don't think you bring him back this year. I think you medical him, right? And trying to get him back.
No.
Yeah, but well, Dane, man, thanks, man. Good luck this week, buddy. Let us know.
Thanks.
See if we're right.
You got Washington, then you got Wazoo, Utah, Cal, USC, ASU, then Oregon State at home to finish the year.
Appreciate it, Dane. All right, everybody else, call in tomorrow, please.
Yes. All right. Quickly, I know we got to get to bets. Blanye, what's up?
Austin S with a $100 dono. Austin, let's go, boy.
Thanks.
I see.
I'm retiring. This
says, haven't been able to get on for the last couple of live shows. Forgive. Don't worry about it. You're in the trust tree. Blaine told you on Twitter that I hit you with a dono. If you follow through with the Jimmy Butler hair, that was hilarious. Best sports show out there.
That was
Keep
hilarious.
it going, boys. Awesome, man. Really appreciate it,
Thank you, buddy.
Let's go to 2 cranes, 1 cone.
That's hot.
That's just ridiculous. With the $2 donation, I'm just going to run through these donations. Hockey season, boys. Go Blackhawks. Love October.
It's so great.
And you
got October, and you got Beer Fest, like Oktoberfest. It's just Halloween's the worst holiday, but I mean, I can make it through with it.
Halloween's a good holiday.
I love Halloween.
Oktoberfest is over already.
Halloween's good.
Oktoberfest, but it's in October though.
Halloween's awesome because
it happened last week, and I was at it.
I know, but it's technically still in October, so I'm not wrong.
You don't like Halloween?
Man, you just it's just so. I love Thanksgiving and Christmas so much more.
Well, yeah, no one's arguing. Well, some people would argue that, I guess. Halloween's great though, just for maybe they are, but that's a separate issue in their life. Now that I'm thinking about, maybe it doesn't. Halloween's great because there's a couple weeks of the year you don't have to hide the bodies.
I love it. Ken, what are y'all going at? What are y'all going as this year, Kenny? What's
We're going to read about
the fam
20 years from now. There's going to be like
Darby Lou's saying I'm going as replacement Conan. I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it with every fiber of my
y'all got the Incredibles written all over you.
No. Well, yeah, you do have the Incredibles written all over you. I mean, Ace is what?
No, Ace wants to be a minion. He wants to be a minion.
Well, he stopped being that the minute he was born. He's like 6'3" already.
You can't.
He's not even 2.
Yeah.
You do got to.
I saw him dunk the.
Yeah, no. If I saw Ace run so fast there was smoke trails behind him or something, I'd be like, makes sense.
Yeah. Let's go to Ryan Landers.
Ava's moving stuff with her mind like as a not even 1 year old.
Let's go to Ryan Landers with a $5 donation. Ryan, appreciate it, buddy. Did the last play of last night's Brave game not give the awesome postseason feeling? I know we showed Austin Riley's home run.
The relay. The relay. Bryce Harper takes off. Castellanos drives one deep in the gap. Michael Harris, great play at the wall. The best part about that play was he missed the first cutoff guy. And the backup, I forgot who came in and cut it off the second. It picked up and threw him out at first.
Austin Riley, wasn't it?
Maybe Austin Riley.
One of the coolest plays I've seen him.
Yeah, dude, playoff baseball is so elite.
And to end the game?
Yeah. Wow. Needed it.
All right, let's go to Major Moose Knuckles with a $5 donation. I can't say that name without laughing.
I know.
I can't. Where's pants to my tits? That's the real question. For the sake of my dignity, I hope Mozzarella Stick Stacy wears loose pants. I'd hate to be associated with their hashtag Go Army.
It's actually smuggling cottage
tight
cheese.
Pants.
Mott Stick Stacy.
Mott Stick.
Wow.
It's a real thing. Let's go to DWise188, $5 donation. Appreciate it, brother. Good morning, fellas. Good morning to you, sir. How about them Bravos? Chop on. World Series in the books.
No. We're going to reverse psychology this whole thing. We're losing the next 2 in Philly, so it was a good run. At least they gave us that good game, David.
Yeah, we got one.
Got one. That's all we needed.
Okay, Cole Frank, $2 donation. LeBron is mid. MJ's a GOAT. NHL starts today.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked about the NHL.
Yeah, they are.
I'm just not hyped about it.
I don't hate the NHL.
Why? Because you're a Flyers fan?
Because it's football season.
Well, I feel like it's NHL season the whole year. Like, I feel like the NHL takes like 3 weeks.
They play a long time.
All right, you got 3 minutes for bets, buddy.
Do a lot in 3 minutes.
To be honest, it's a it's a really long time in the space-time continuum.
It really is, especially if you go slow-mo. Sean Ketstever, Washington State flag, Oregon State. What do they call these? Pennant? Yeah, pennant.
Nice.
Dude, we're going to put these up. The ketchup chips, I'm guessing they're on their way. I can't wait to eat them because these guys are just haters.
Not me. I want to try it.
That's right. Blaine's a hater.
I want to try it. Thanks, Sean.
Sean, thank you,
can
buddy.
try it. We can go in the kitchen right now.
That's
not the same thing.
Well, if that's the case, then that's already what I do. French fries and ketchup, that's what we're talking about, right?
Not the same.
That's what I'm saying. That's why
just wait. Why don't you don't
And if I do hate it, I'll tell him I hate it.
No,
but if I love it.
I wouldn't be surprised from a guy who likes candy corn. He'll probably eat anything.
All right, here we go. Got to put the hard hat glasses on. All right, got to put the hard hat glasses on. College football tonight. It's Conference USA.
USA!
Who knows, right? You feel me on this? Listen to whoever you want, but they really don't know. Here's where I'm going. Middle Tennessee State's let me down 2 times. You got one more time, Coach Stockstill. You got one more.
Tell them.
I'm giving you one more chance. You're 30 minutes from me. And I'm not saying I'm not threatening any violence, but I'm threatening a strongly worded letter showing up in your office.
My brother drove.
I know where Murfreesboro is.
My brother drove all the way from Tulsa.
Yeah, to be here tonight. He's a singer. You're going to sing for him. Middle Tennessee State money line, -150. Can you handle it against La Tech? I hope Bachmeier plays because he's garbage. Garbage. I'm 40. I'm a man. All right. Jacksonville State tonight at home against Liberty. Bought it up to +7.5. I'm not taking it at 6.5. What do you think? I'm a psycho? So Caden Salter can run one in with 35 seconds to go and I'll lose by 7 when they make the extra point? So give me Jacksonville State at home, +7.5, -142, 46 and 35 overall. College football bets, feeling good about it. Up 40 units, but not feeling good about tonight. So if you want to just, feel Go on with your day. That wouldn't be a bad idea.
I'll ride with you on Middle Tennessee, but I'll take a -2.5. That's at -133 on the odds. And then App State -5.5 against Coastal Carolina. It's -119.
All right, I won $3,000 yesterday. I can't believe it. Now I'm scared to bet for the rest of the year. But this is what I'm taking. I don't know. I haven't watched a single one of these teams play.
That means you'll hit both of them.
So when I do that, I usually just take overs when it comes to games like this. Give me Liberty versus Jacksonville State. The over's rolling at 56.5. It's going off at -110. Then La Tech, Middle Tennessee State. That over's rolling at 54.5, -110. I think the weather's going to be fine in these games. These are type of teams where they don't make mistakes, but when they do make mistakes, they're drastic final destination mistakes. Pick six, fumble for returns, 80-yard touchdowns. Give me the over, boys.
I had a bad vision about the roller coaster. So, hey, everybody, let's get on the roller coaster. Ace, he's going to take the Orioles money line. They need it bad. +120. Then the Twins money line. I hope they get it. I'm rooting for Minnesota at -135.
Reek Kasky, $5 donation. A little Maction question. What do you guys think of my Ohio Bobcats? 5-1. And I'm feeling a MAC title this year.
Y'all in Toledo. That's the way it's looking. That's the way it's smelling.
Juju Goat says candy corn is the worst thing about Halloween. I couldn't agree more.
What?
It is.
Yeah, that's what
Man,
he said.
get out.
That's how we get answers.
Get out.
You stay in.
Get out.
You feed a terrorist candy corn for 4 days, you'll get answers.
I want to find out who sent me candy corn last year from the Booster Club.
Somebody
They
did
send
such a big jar.
I eat that thing for a
Big
month.
jar. You did.
All right, let's get to the poll. Who you got? Who wins this game? Oregon or Washington?
David, you go first today.
I'll say they said Oregon. Let's say Oregon a flat 60%.
I'm going to say they said Washington. 54%.
Oregon, 80%.
80.
Washington, 20%.
See, like that to me is a PR thing. That's just the marketing machine.
Now,
of Oregon right there,
like
that
if
play.
the public's going to be on Oregon this hard, like this is when Vegas. Oh, all right, we'll see.
That's why I don't think Michael Penix Jr. will win the Heisman for that right there. No matter what kind of year he has, just not a lot of people know about Washington like
Oregon
that.
too. Taking Oregon too. It's not like there's just 8 people in the chat either. Where like 5 of them picked Oregon, the other people didn't.
Yeah, but there have been bigger spreads of games that were closer in the chat in the poll.
That's true. That's true. All right, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you haven't. Good job in the chat today. Appreciate y'all. We will catch y'all tomorrow. Got a great guest. Make sure, again, you check out the Power Slap with the Jeremy's Razors and the Jeremy's Chocolate or however you get down. And like the chances of this being a low-scoring game between Oregon and Washington, we're going to get to the A&M Tennessee preview tomorrow as well. We're going. Come on now. Woo! Gone.